They called it Room 14. Step inside, and you'll lose time you can't explain. No dizziness, no warning. Just one moment you're checking your watch, and the next you're outside holding keys you don't remember picking up. And the camera? The camera shows you walking in, then it skips like reality blinked. Here's why this story spread. It wasn't one person. Not two, it was 13. All different ages, different jobs. But every witness described the same three details. The air inside felt too quiet, like sound got swallowed. Their phones lost exactly 1 hour, not random, always the same. And afterward, they all had the same phrase stuck in their head. A phrase none of them remembered hearing: "You were never here." This happened in an old office building scheduled for renovation, the kind with beige hallways, dead plants, and lights that flicker even when nobody touches them. A small security company took the contract to watch the place overnight. That's where we meet Mason, a night guard who documented everything because he didn't trust his own memory. He wasn't hunting ghosts. He was hunting the truth. And what he found made him quit a job he desperately needed. On his third night, Mason did a routine floor check. The building had 14 rooms on the third floor, all empty. He walked past room 14 and noticed the door wasn't fully closed, just a crack. He didn't think anything of it. He pushed it open and stepped inside. The room was plain: one chair, a desk bolted to the floor, and a ceiling vent that rattled softly. Mason checked his watch. 2:11 a.m. He took 3 steps forward. And then he was standing in the hallway again, hand on the doorknob. His watch now read 3:11 a.m., exactly 1 hour later. No memory in between. No sense of falling asleep, just missing. He ran to the security office and pulled footage. The hallway camera captured him entering room 14 at 2:11. Then the video glitched, not like a broken feed, but like someone removed frames with a razor, a clean skip. Then Mason walked out at 3:11, calm, normal. And for 1 second, he looked directly into the camera and smiled. Mason swore he never smiled. He didn't even remember looking up. He rewound it 5 times. The smile was always there, like someone else wore his face for a moment. Mason reported it. The building manager laughed until Mason asked a simple question. "Has anyone ever complained about room 14? The manager went quiet. Then he admitted something he shouldn't have. Over the last year, different contractors had refused to work near that door. One electrician claimed he lost time. A cleaning lady said she walked in and came out with wet hair, like she'd showered, but there was no bathroom in the room. A plumber swore he heard his own voice whispering from the vent, saying, 'Don't waste it.' Mason wrote every name down, 13 witnesses, all missing the same hour. Mason stopped treating it like a ghost story and started treating it like a machine. He set rules. Rule number 1, never enter alone. Rule number 2, always record audio. Rule number 3, leave a marker that can't be faked. The next night, he brought a coworker, Riley, and a roll of bright red tape. They wrapped the tape across the doorframe in a zigzag pattern, so if the tape broke, they'd know who did it. Then Mason started a voice recorder. He announced the time out loud. 1:58 a.m., we're going in. They stepped into room 14 together. The air changed instantly. Not colder, just wrong. As if the room was too small on the inside by 1 inch, and your body noticed. Riley whispered, "Do you hear that?" Mason listened. And he heard something he can't explain, a faint ticking, coming from nowhere like a clock hidden behind the walls. But it wasn't steady, it was counting down. Mason looked down at his watch. 1:59 a.m., he looked up to answer Riley, and suddenly, they were both in the hallway again. The tape on the doorframe was still intact, not broken. Not peeled, perfect, but the recorder in Mason's hand had stopped. He pressed play. At first, only static. Then a sound, 2 voices layered on top of each other, Mason's voice and Riley's voice. Both speaking at the exact same time, calmly, like reading a script. They said, "We understand, we won't tell." "We were never here." Mason felt his throat tighten, because he never said those words. Riley's face turned pale, like he'd seen something in his head. Then Riley slowly raised his sleeve. On his forearm, in red ink, were 4 words as if written by a pen. "Don't come back in." Riley hadn't written it. His hands were shaking too badly to hold a pen. Mason did one last test. The kind you regret even after it proves you're right. He pushed a small camera, an old phone, into the ceiling vent using a selfie stick. The screen showed darkness, dust, metal, then something moved. Not an animal, not a shadow. The image bent like the vent stretched longer than it should, turning into a tunnel that didn't match the building plan. And the audio picked up a whisper. Not from the room, from inside the vent. A voice, soft and close. "Give it back." Mason yanked the phone out and froze, because the phone's lock screen time didn't match anything. It didn't say A, Y, or A, Y. It displayed P, Y, a time that doesn't exist. For a moment, Mason thought his eyes were lying. Then the phone corrected itself to 3M, like it realized it made a mistake, like something inside the room had tried to show him the truth. Mason found an old renovation blueprint in the storage office. Room 14 wasn't supposed to be there. On the original plan, the space was labeled Service Void Do Not Build. A void, a gap, something architects were told to leave empty. And never question, but someone built a room anyway. A room shaped like a normal office, painted normal, lit normal, to hide the fact that it wasn't a room, it was a lid, covering a space that should have stayed open, and if the whispers were right, the missing hour wasn't erased. It was taken, collected, stored. Mason resigned the next day, but before he left, he did one final thing. He slid an envelope under room 14's door. Inside was a note. "If you want time so badly, take mine, just stop following me." That night at home, his smoke alarm beeped once. Not low battery, a single beep like a signal. Then his TV turned on by itself. Static filled the screen. And a message appeared for 1 second in white text. "Thank you." So if you ever walk into a building and see a door with no window, no name, and the air around it feels too quiet, don't test it, because some rooms don't hold people, they hold time. And if you want the next file in this series, subscribe, because the next story is about an elevator button that leads to a floor that doesn't exist.